It is going to be a day of painting an end table. It is wood mahogany with lots of cigarette burns and scratches and gouges. And I'm using Dixie Belle paint in Peacock. I'm using a Waverly brush. And I'm using spray bottle. So I guess I should have started on that side. I'll show you. I'm using an 8-ounce of Dixie Belle Peacock, but really, if you think about it, I've already used it, so it's only about 4 ounces. I think I can get most of this done. I spray my brush just to give it a little bit of pre-whatever. Can you see that? Oh, I can see that. Just dip this in. I have not cleaned this piece. I did pull a couple cobwebs. Oops, see, cobweb off. And as you can see instantly, it's already kind of refusing the paint because I put too much water on my brush. But that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on there. Let it get a base coat. These legs have metal at the bottom. Try not to paint over the metal. Although, you know what, I might. Can't decide yet. Dip a little bit more, and then you'll see there. The paint comes out a little bit thicker. Less water. You can always tell with the first swipe if your wood's going to take paint really well, or you're going to need a couple of coats. And this is very shiny, slick. You know what? I am going to do the base. And when you got legs, I like to go ahead and paint it upside down to start with. Makes it easier to get to everything, because even though you may not see across, you don't realize that when you're looking across the room, you can see the backs of these legs. See, it's turned around the other way. You can see the backs of legs. So you all want to do all the legs. I've seen people who say they don't do the insides of the legs because you won't see it across the room, but your client will. So you may as well go ahead and do it. Looks better no matter what angle they put it in the room, against a wall, by their bed, even in the living room next to the couch. Then no matter where they put it, everything is covered. That's what you need. So a little more. Again, this is very slick. It's almost plasticky. And it's the style of finish they put on these. They're almost like laminate. Even though it's real wood, the veneer is what I'm trying to say, is so slick. In that case, you don't need as much water on your brush, at least not in the beginning. Because you want to get that base coat on. It gives the wood something to adhere to. And then I use a lot of water on the next one. I know you can't see this a lot, but go down here. This is a 2-tier, so we don't have to do the bottom because it's upside down, but I do need to do this. But what I'm going to do is do the insets, easier to get to while it's upside down. And then when we flip it over, I'll do the other part of the tier. So it's really going to get in there. I'm not doing this all pretty. Now I'm just getting the paint on there. I'm doing some crisscross strokes. Doesn't have to be perfect. I do like brush marks on my furniture, because if I didn't want brush marks, I would just spray paint it. Let me see. Sorry, it's going out of focus there. Just a tiny bit on the brush. Hopefully that'll focus in a minute. Hold on. Focus, focus. There. Again, just getting a base coat. I just don't want drips. These drips you can still see. And this back here, this back detailing will be seen. So get that edge. Oops, I'm dripping. Dripping. There. Again, this is really shiny and slick. So, put it on there full strength. The first coat. Then I'll add water later. Have any of you guys used Dixie Belle and Peacock before? I'm just going to say if you haven't, you should. I love this color. Almost Thanksgiving, y'all. Today's Monday. Thanksgiving is this Thursday. Hard to believe. And hard to believe that it's now again about 80 degrees outside in Tallahassee. I don't think we're ever going to have super cold weather. I mean, we've had a couple mornings that it was 45 degrees, but by the time the sun really came up and you got on with your day, it's 80. There was no fall. Beginning to wonder if there's going to be any water. Okay, just getting these insets. Got some on my finger. Okay. Once I get done with this, I'm going to flip it over. And it's hard for you to see what I'm doing because I'm doing the other side now. Let me see if I can switch it without getting paint everywhere. This has a lot of dust on it. There. It almost looks red at first. This is not red, it's mahogany. Let's see if I can get the camera to... There, a little bit better. This is the color Peacock. And yes, again, I am painting upside down at first. It's just easier with these legs. And this shiny composite veneer. Go ahead and get it on there. I have it just sitting on two, what are they called? Sawhorses? And just a piece of leftover plywood from another project. Make a real quick table to sit this on. Otherwise I would just be sitting on the ground. As you guys know, I do that a lot. A lot of my videos, you just see me sitting on the ground painting. Nothing wrong with that though. Sometimes it's hard to get back up. Okay, almost done. Then I'm going to flip her over. Actually, I think this is a he. Furniture kind of speaks to me. I think this is a boy, but I'm not sure. And that's not because it's kind of a bluish paint. It's just because it's very handsome and built. Not a lot of frillies. Like sometimes the furniture has scallops. No scallops, just straightforward. Okay, I am going to spray my brush because it's getting a little bit of a drag. You'll feel that when you're painting. A little bit of a drag, add just a little bit of water to your paintbrush, and that'll help with the drag. Make it a little bit easier on yourself. There, much better. Play around with your squirt brush and you'll see. Too much water gets lots of drips, doesn't adhere well. Just a little bit of water goes a long way. Like adding lotion gives a little bit of friction and something to make it easier to spread the paint on your surface. Moisturizer, always needed. Just remember that. Okay. Coming along here. Let me get this leg over here. And I am just dipping straight into the brush. I don't worry about contamination. Another cobweb. Some people pour it out on a plate or another bowl. I tend to use paint directly from the pot. Unless it's white. White tends to get mucked up really easily with other colors, so a little bit safer with that. Okay. Got that. I'm just checking all the sides. Now what I'm going to do is flip it up. Oh, it's hard to see what I'm doing. I don't know if you can see. Oops, don't fall off the little table. So I'm going to hold this up because of the angle. I'm going to do this piece that's not been touched yet. See? Thicker coat in the beginning. Give it something to adhere to because it's that shiny, slick. There you go. Rub some of the excess off here. All the legs are done. And while I'm at it, so I'm going to do this without dropping it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it upright. Hit these edges. Because I have paint still loaded up on the brush. I don't want to waste any of it. So go ahead and hit these. Oh, it's still got loads of paint. See? There's still dust. I don't know if you can see there's a cigarette burn right here. A huge gouge here. Here. Let me bring you in tighter to see that. I'm gonna get a little bit of a lip here. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. How's that? Now can you see what I'm talking about? See that big catch? Whoops, that is falling. There. Now, a little bit on the edge here that I missed. And while it's like this, I'm going to go ahead and touch it. There we go. Oops. Yes, I keep grabbing it where it's wet. Not a big deal because it's chalk paint and it comes right off. Usually I would let it dry a little bit longer, then flip it over, but since we're filming, I wanted to go ahead and show you. But sometimes, when it's got two tiers and a little lip like this one does, it's easier to just put it on top of a table and hit it upside down to start with. And then you want to turn it upright. I'm getting some paint on my board here, so this board is now prettier than it was before. This little extra plywood board I have to make a little table. See what I'm doing? I'm not doing it perfect, just getting it on there. This is very slick veneer for a mahogany piece. And please don't say, why did you paint that? If you're up close, you can see this huge gouge, this huge cigarette burn mark. It looks like it's probably been burned up several times with cigarettes. Not just one cigarette made that mess. Okay, now I'm going to do the top of the table. Come across. I'm going to do a thick layer here because this is where the gouge is and this is where that burn mark is. So it needs, there we go, a little bit thicker layer of paint right there. Adding texture to cover up. There we go. And this paintbrush holds a lot, so it loads it up in there. You're still going to see this gouge mark even through the paint because I'm adding texture by adding a thicker coat of paint here. It'll cover up a lot of the sins. And this piece can be loved for many, many years again instead of just being discarded and considered damaged because of some burn marks. It's unfortunate. I didn't do it. I didn't put the burn marks there, but I can save him and give him another home. See, again, there goes my adoption theory. I'm fostering this piece, preparing it to be adopted. Okay, I don't think you can see it. I'm going to tell right here that it's not painted. This part down here, so I'm going to paint down there. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can. You see what I'm talking about? And this, when the table's upside right, this would be the back of the table on the first tier. I'm going to pull that up this way, make it easier to get to. Paint right over some of the dust. And then look for any drips when you're hitting this one detail a lot. Although sometimes drips with chalk paint are easy to go back over and it causes texture. It's not like with latex paint where it's leaky and blobby. This you can go back and fix for quite some time. And work to your advantage. Alright. So we did it upside down. We are using Dixie Belle paint in Peacock, chalk mineral paint. No preface work was done. No sanding, no cleaning, nothing of those sorts. Can you see now that I got it all the way down in there? And then brush on the back. Okay. Now when you start doing this, you can see, feel the drag. That means this part is already pretty much dry. You can feel that when you're using the brush going across there. Okay. And since this is a 2-tier, and again it will be possibly seen across the room, I'm going to paint, and I should have done it earlier, the underside of this tier. You normally wouldn't see this at all, but I don't want to see it across the room and someone to see that, oops, there's raw wood under here. So, sometimes these 2-tier and 3-tier end tables can take as much paint as an entire dresser because of all the different tiers you gotta cover up. Not like prime tiers, but tiers as in levels, T-I-E-R-S. Okay. You'll see as you go and you work around it. At first you might be like, I don't need to paint that, but when you turn around you go, someone might could see underneath there. It's better just go ahead. It only takes a few more minutes. As you can see, I'm almost done painting the whole underside of that tier. Now as I do it, I'm just going to take my paint brush and go back over some of the spots that I've already done. Because I still have paint loaded. I don't have to waste all that paint. I'm washing it. Let's go ahead and use it. Alright, can you see now? I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but I promise you, with the second coat, all that will go away. Now this paint is pulling away a little bit in some spots, and that's because of the burn mark, and I expected that. So I'll just go over that particular part a couple of times. Alright, he is all done, his first coat, and we will take a break and come back. Enjoy the day. One thing I wanted to show you is when you're finishing the first coat of a project like this and you're about to go clean out your brush, you may find that if you have smalls, like this little hook that I bought at a sale, I've already put some leftover white on it, and since my paintbrush still has a lot of paint in there, I can go ahead and just touch this up with the peacock on top of that white. Usually I have candlestick holders, plaques that have little cute sayings, or will have cute sayings once I paint it and put the saying on there. But with the amount of paint you have left over on your brush, instead of just rinsing it out, which, I mean, you'll still rinse it out, you still have enough paint on there to do a whole nother small project. And so I always say, go ahead, have a candlestick or a hook or a wall plaque or a tchotchke that's an animal shaped tchotchke or something like that that you want to paint that's ugly that you're adding paint, and just use from one project onto the other, and that way you're actually getting more out of your paint. That's just a tip that I would share with you. Always have something else sitting around that could use a little extra. And by the time I get done with the next layer of this paint, see, this will be done. And then I like to display the items close together, so you have a matching. Most people are like, oh, I want this table, and look, this little hook matches it, and I'll put that in my room too, or put that in my bathroom. And then you're upselling, and you're using the paint that's already on your brush. So it's a win-win for everybody. Okay. These hooks, let's get in there. There you go. Just sit that down and let that dry. See? Not perfect, but again, that's the first coat. That's another head. Alright, so now we're going to use Waverly white wax. I don't have my wax from, actually I'm out of my wax from Dixie Belle paint, so that's why I'm going to use something I have a little bit left of. This actually comes out looking a little bit yellowish to me, just at first sight, but it'll all work out. And now I'm going to go ahead and you'll see this brush, which is made by Waverly, doesn't fit into this wax. So I'm just going to get a little bit on the edge of the brush by putting the brush in there like that. And I'm going to smooth it out on here. See, it is white wax. Please note, I did clear coat this piece already with Dixie Belle clear coat in flat. So there's a little bit of a barrier between the piece and the white paint. White wax, because I'm going to brush this back. This wax to me is just to add a little bit of color. So I don't know if you can see me really rubbing it in like that. Get it a little bit on the edge, on the inset in here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this t-shirt. Pretty sure this is, yeah, an extra just t-shirt. And you'll see I'm going to rub this off real quick. Woo. It is on wheels and I rolled it across the concrete, which made that noise. Just rubbing it back. Get some of the wax into the crevices. And you see now it's kind of whitewashed. This is the wax part, this is the non-wax part. So I'm going to do that in sections. Do a little bit more. Again, a little bit on the brush. Wipe it on. A little bit in my hair. That happens. I keep saying I'm gonna cut my hair. And then you see me put it up in a horrible bun looking thing, but I don't want to cut it yet, so I'm gonna continue just to get it in my hair because I didn't put it up. My hair is white waxed. I noticed with the Waverly wax, it's more liquid than it is solid, if that makes any sense compared to other brands, which makes it easier to manipulate a little bit, but it also has other downfalls, like it can get in your hair easier. Here are all the planes. It's the day before Thanksgiving, so everyone's traveling. Air traffic's.
Yeah, today's the biggest traveling day of the year.
Yep. So that's why you're getting all these planes. I can't see this. I'm using the camera so I can see the inside. And the cat's going crazy trying to get out here. I'm trying not to let Petey outside while I do this, because he'll just get into the project. Okay, so before that dries, that's why I said I'm going to do this in sections. I'm going to go ahead, try to get it down without getting filthy, and take this t-shirt, wipe its back.
That wasn't a
I
rag.
wish you guys, huh?
That wasn't a rag.
Yes, it was.
No.
I opened it up and it was a rag.
That was the shirt I was wearing earlier.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It was ready to become a rag, honestly. I wear it as an undershirt when it's chilly.
Okay. It's a rag now.
It's a rag now, exactly.
I even opened it up and said, playback the playback. This is a rag, I think. And I opened it up and I go, yeah, this is a rag. Make sure it's a nice shirt. That's what I said.
It was ready to become a rag.
Oops.
Too funny.
Time to buy him a new shirt. Okay. Because I left it on a little bit too long, you can see that parts of it are staying more white than others. So I'm just really making this back harder. Go across. Oops. There. I usually like to put it on in the same direction that I'm wiping it off. Just a minute ago you'll see that I did some circles and stuff, but I usually like to keep the striations the same. But because there's a little bit extra right here, I'm rubbing it. Now if you hadn't clear coated it beforehand, the wax and the pressure of trying to take the wax off because I'm letting it dry too long, possibly could have pulled some of the paint back off to the wood, which sometimes you want to do, but when you don't, it's just easier to go ahead and clear coat. Let that clear coat dry for a couple hours or overnight. Then you can apply the wax on top so that you can kind of manipulate how you want the wax to show up as far as the white part. And I'm just going to use the same brush with some excess on it up here on the top layer. Sorry, top tier. I know it's hard to see. I'm not going to move the camera yet. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. Not only am I adding some protection with this wax, I mean it's already protected with the clear coat, but I am adding dimension because of the color in the white wax. At this point it's almost like using it as a glaze. Whatever you do, make sure the shirt you grab is not your significant other's shirt. Make sure it's an actual rag. It's a rag now. I do feel bad about that. But once you use an undershirt and you're pretty much done with it, it's good for removing wax. Yeah. Sorry. Thank goodness it wasn't like a favorite shirt. That would have been bad. These things happen. Okay, now I'm just going to do a little bit of the sides. I have seen some people leave this on. See that? And it becomes like a coastal look, or a a whitewash is basically what it is. But you see, I am going to leave a little bit on the sides because I do want it to have a little third dimension. So you've got the dark mahogany wood. You've got the peacock and Dixie Belle paint. You've got the glaze, peony glaze that I made out of Dixie Belle paint and 1 part water, 1 part to 1 part. And then you also have the clear coat, and then you have the wax that I'm putting on, the white wax from Waverly. So you've got all those different colors and textures coming through, and that's what I wanted with this piece. Because I wanted it to have more texture. Hence it has the pink and the drippy. Okay. I'm going to continue to do this all around with the white wax, and then wiping it off with this now rag. And then I will show you a finished picture at the end. So enjoy your Thanksgiving, and make sure you get a rag that is legitimately a rag and not someone's shirt. Ta-da! You can see the wax is still here. I'm going to wipe that back a little bit, but on the side, see there? It's got like a coastal look. And then over here, I'm still going to whitewash that too. Thank you for watching. Send any messages or comments below, and you can order paint from us at theothersidevintage.com or email us directly or eBay. Alright, so now I've had the table turned upright, and it is the first coat. And now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take peony. I made a glaze. I added 1 part water to 1 part peony paint by Dixie Belle a while ago for another project, and I've kept it in this jar. So now what I'm going to do, and don't freak out, I'm just going to put my little brush in there, and I'm just going to go along the edges here. See? And I'm going to let it drip. Yes, I know. All these little nooks and crannies on the edge. Why am I doing this? Because this piece, I need texture to cover up the fact that it had so many blemishes. Then I'm just going to take a little bit of this water. There's a lot of water actually. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Do its thing. Watch me drop this. See? It is becoming a drippy mess. Literally, it's dripping. See, it's dripping. That's what I wanted there. Still dripping. Lots of drips. Yeah, I'm going to do that on the other side, which you're not going to be able to see, but I will. I'm going to do it over here. I wonder if I can turn around. Let me try, but when you turn around and you're dripping, the force of moving it, I know there's some physics thing that Sheldon from Big Bang Theory can explain better than me. When you're turning it, the centrifugal force, maybe that's it, will start to make the drip go instead of down, sideways. I'm going to be very light with that. So I'm going to lightly pick this up, turn it around, and make this side sort of match the other side. They never match, but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, is what I'm saying. Yes, I'm making a mess. Making a mess. Remember when you were a kid and you could make a mess? Don't you miss those days? Well, we're back to those days. It's okay to make a mess. In this world, messes are good. Messes were meant to be. I want it to drip and be messy. That is Petey. I can hear him at the door. Trying to come outside. Can you hear the door? He's jumping up there. Add a little bit of water. Let me see if I can do this without dropping. Yeah, I mean that obviously, but see, just spraying it enough to make it drip. See, it's already watered down. Remember, it already has water with paint. And then I'm going to reactivate and let that slide down. There we go. See this leg? See that drippy drippy? That's a good drippy drippy. And of course it's on the table. You know, it's hard to see. I'm not a good videographer. Dripping. You can really see it dripping now. I might add a little bit more over here, and I'm going to do some in the back. Because in the back, there's some, you see that? Different tiers, and if someone has it across the room, like I said in the other part, I want it to be viewable from all sides. I'm sorry you guys, I am moving around and you're hearing the traffic going by and cars honking. Again, this glaze was custom made by taking peony and Dixie Belle and 1 part water. I'm just gonna put that on there. You know what else I'm gonna do? On the inset, on the inside, I'm gonna go right down. Can you see that? That tier? You can't see that, but in a minute I'll show you. Yes, I'm making a mess. Make a mess, it's okay. See that? I'm putting it on the inside there and on the back. I want it to be drippy drippy. Oops, went off there a little bit, but that's okay. The more organic, the better. Now, I'm going to just spray it with a spray bottle. I'll let that drip. I'm also going to reactivate that in the middle and on the back. Yes, see that? Perfect. I wanted to go down that leg. And how did I do that? You just keep spraying. Oh, see? Oh, I'm horrible at this. Spray this way because I want it to drip down that leg. You can spray in the direction you want it to go, and that'll help it go down the legs. See? Now we're coming down the legs. Let's do that a little bit more, make it a little bit messier. There we go. Getting in those grooves. Drippy, drippy mess. That's what we wanted. Now, see what's happening? It's actually flooding from the sides where I blew it into the front. And I'm going to spray that. Make it kind of puddle up. I'm going to give it direction. I'm telling it where to go on that tabletop. Now, so what I'm going to do is set up a couple more spots. From over here, you'll see better. Maybe. I'm going to take this glaze again, because we were working on the sides. And now I'm going to work on the front. If you can see that from that angle, but because I'm working while it's wet still, I want it to happen same time, so I don't have time to carry you around it. Let me show you. Right here. May I suggest do this when you have a table that is darker underneath than the color you're using. Hence, this was a mahogany veneer wood vintage table. It still is. I don't know why I say it was. what happens is, as we're spraying, some of the color is going to come down, which is what we want, and almost become, because of the spraying, it's making it another color. So your third color comes from the glimmers of the table popping through. If that makes any sense. Alright, let's see if I can show you. I don't know what you can see. I'm going to reactivate this and let it drip down. And I'm going to reactivate that. Kind of blow it towards the table. See what I'm getting at? Then we're getting an organic what color? What did pink and blue make? What color did pink and blue make? Does anybody know? No, you know. And look at this color that's showing up here. This new color is because of all the water. It's almost like a light white. Hopefully I'll show you that later on. I like this drip down the side. Drippy mess, drippy mess. That's what I want. That's what I want. Can you see that? That's what I want right there. Drippy, drippy mess. Over here it's a little too bit much. Can you see? We'll see if I can get the angle a little more. See how there's too much right there? I'm going to use my water bottle and spray it in the direction I want it to go. And the reason it keeps coming back here is because the table is not even. There's a divot right there. That's what I wanted. I'm going to add, yes, look at the sky. Just a little bit more right here. I want it to go down. Oh, it's removing. Can you see how it's removing? It's so wet. It's removing the brown of the table, which is fine. The paint is coming up, which is fine. Now we're dripping. See it dripping? Hot mess. I'm gonna coax that a little bit so it settles. There we go. Can you see where the paint's coming off? Can you see that? Yeah. Now, top of the table right there is needed. Right there, and those nooks and crannies. That's what I want. A hot mix. Some people would say. And just a little bit of spray that down. Let it activate. And here. See how soaking wet that is? You can't even see the color anymore because it's so wet. Now it's time to let it dry. I may actually bring out a hairdryer and dry it myself. Okay. Thank you for watching this hot mess. And there you go. There you get an idea. See now? See? Okay.